Vaishnavis? Word for word. Aninye brought to Svagriham home. Putrya born of the daughter. Putram the son. Vitatarochisam very powerful. Swayambhuva the Manu named Swayambhuva. Muda being very pleased. Yukta with. Ruchi the great sage Ruchi. Jagraha kept. Dakshinam the daughter named Dakshina. Translation. Swayambhuva Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yagya, and Ruchi, his son-in-law, kept with him the daughter Dakshina. Purport. Swayambhuva Manu was very glad to see that his daughter Akuti had given birth to both a boy and a girl. He was afraid that it would take one son, and that because of this his son-in-law Ruchi might be sorry. Thus, when he heard that a daughter was born along with the boy, he was very glad. Ruchi, according to his promise, returned his male child to Swayambhuva Manu and decided to keep the daughter, whose name was Dakshina. One of Lord Vishnu's names is Yagya because he is the master of the Vedas. The name Yagya comes from Yaju Sampati, which means Lord of all sacrifices. In the Yaju Veda, there are different ritualistic prescriptions for performing yagyas, and the beneficiary of all such yagyas is the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yagyatat karmana, one should act, but one should perform one's prescribed duties only for the sake of Yagya or Vishnu. If one does not act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if one does not perform devotional service, then there will be reactions to all one's activities. It does not matter if the reaction is good or bad. If our activities are not dovetailed with the desire of the Supreme Lord, or if we do not act in Krishna consciousness, then we shall be responsible for the results of all our activities. There is always a reaction to every kind of action, but if actions are performed for yagya, there is no reaction. Thus, if one acts for yagya or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is not entangled in the material condition. For it is mentioned in the Vedas and also in Bhagavad Gita that the Vedas and the Vedic rituals are all meant for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. From the very beginning, one should try to act in Krishna consciousness. That will free one from the reactions of material activities. Hare Krishna. Aninyesva griham putra, putram vidata rochisam, swayambhuvo mudayukto, ruchi jagraha dakshinam. Swayambhuva Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yagya, and Ruchi, his son-in-law, kept with him the daughter Dakshina. So A very interesting story from this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Swayambhuva Manu, one of the sons of Brahma, Lord Brahma. Of course, we know in the beginning Lord Brahma, at least in this kalpa, this day of Brahma, his first sons were the Kumaras, the four Kumaras, the first sons, and then Lord Shiva. And then he had Manasaputra. Of course, Kumara was also Manasaputra, Lord Shiva also. But the 10th very famous, I think in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's good description of the Kumara and others. And Lord Brahma's creation of the different aspects of the material universe. So the Manasaputra, the mind sons of Brahma, they were born from the different parts of the body of Lord Brahma. These are very uncommon personalities. They're not normal like we conditioned souls on earth. We have certain types of body of the mainly earth and water, very limited in our functions. Very under control. But as we go higher in the planetary system, Svargaloka and even higher, now in the Svargaloka, of course, they live very long time. The Indra, Agni, these are the chiefs. Chandra, these are the chief demigods, and there are many individuals living in the Svarga. So they're very high. They have very a lot of powers, much more than those of Earth. And then when you go higher still, the above Svarga, you have the Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. And it is said that those inhabitants of those planets, they automatically have the cities, the mystic powers, when they are born. When they are born in those positions, Anima, Lagima, Prapti, so on, we're becoming lighter than the lightest. You can go to faraway places, you can change your shape, you can do so many mystical things. Generally, yogis, if they want to attain this type of siddhi, they have to do the tapasya and yoga practice for a long time, maybe even many births, and maybe they'll be awarded maybe one or two of these siddhis, or you can get 8 siddhis. That's very, very high perfection. And in the Svargaloka, sometimes some devas have these types of mystic siddhis. But it is said that those on the higher planets, automatically they have, and just on their birth. And of course, Brahmaloka, he is another very special. He is the firstborn. He is, in one sense, he doesn't have a not ordinary birth. His father is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, so he is unborn in that sense. He doesn't have normal mother. So he's a very special personality. So he can do many things, but by his powers, by his mind, he can create so many things from his body. So many things come, and so all these sons, Pulaha, Pulasya, Gira, Vashishta, Brigu, and so on. Narad Muni was another son, Swayambhuva Manu was another. These are born directly from Lord Brahma. So these are very great, elevated. Daksha was another one. So they're very powerful, and they are assigned certain functions by the Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma is assigned, he has to do the creation under the order of the Supreme Personality of God. So he is designating to others, and they are subsequently designating to others, and in this way so many things of the world go on. But here we're reading about Swayambhuva Manu, and his wife, queen, was Satarupa. Manu means overseeing the activities of the mankind, more specifically. And here we find that he had the I think there was the 5 children, wasn't it? The 5 between his wife and himself. They had the 5. Was it Priyavrata? No, who was the direct Priyavrata? There are 2 boys, the Priyavrata Uttanapada, and 3 girls, the Devahuti, Prasuti, and Akuti. Isn't it? This we're talking about Akuti here. So they're very elevated. We've read about Maharaj Priyavrata, and I was just in Perth, the temple, and we were reading from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Priyavrata, how we formed the different islands of the Bhu Mandala, whole description, of course. And then Uttanapada was the king. There's so many nice descriptions. So he had 2 sons, had 3 daughters. Now, of course, we know Devahuti, she was the mother of Lord Kapila Dev, incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now we're coming to Akuti and Swayambhuva Manu. Of course, the father always liked to see that the daughter is married and goes to a nice family and qualified boy, and the family is very nice, and all these things are considered very deeply to make I think in the next few verses we read about the compatibility of man and woman and so on and so forth. But so Ruchi, the description was given in the earlier verses of Ruchi, very, very high, elevated Brahmana, very strict. I think I was reading that he was very strict Brahmana, Paka Brahmana. We call it Paka Brahmana. We don't find many Paka Brahmanas now. Prabhupada, he was Paka Brahmana. Very Paka Brahmana. He was always very clean, always performing all the act. Of course, he was a Vaishnava Brahmana, not just ritualistic Brahmana, but Vaishnava Brahmana. Means he was a Brahmana, devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and always following everything very nicely, and all that very clean internally and externally. Prabhupada would always wear the clean cloth. He would, in the morning, have clean cloth, and then sometimes Prabhupada would have a little nap in the afternoon, and then when he took a bath, again, clean cloth again. Not the same one from the morning, but another clean cloth, because this is clean. And so he wouldn't, again, wear the same cloth. So we saw like that with Prabhupada, very, very suchi. I always tell the story of Hari Sori told me that Prabhupada always liked to have fresh salt with his meals. They bring some salt, some pepper, fresh, every day, a new one, not same one. And then, Hari Sori was cooking for Prabhupada, and he was running a little late with lunch. And Prabhupada always liked to eat at regular time, and so he was running a little late, and so he brought the prasad, and then Prabhupada said, "Where is the salt?" So he ran down and got the salt, and as he was bringing it up, his finger accidentally went inside the salt, fingernail. So he was looking at Prabhupada, he wants to eat immediately, so should I change again because my fingernail went in the salt, or should I just give? And so Prabhupada was just looking the whole time. And so Hari Sori thought, well, better just to give now, because Prabhupada will be upset if I have to go back again, because you have to go downstairs in Melbourne Temple, Melbourne Temple, you have to go there running right in the back of the kitchen, again maybe 5 minutes. So then he thought, I'll just give. But Prabhupada, he put it down, and he looked up, he said, "You are mlecha. You're offering your guru the salt that you've touched with your dirty fingernail." So sometimes Prabhupada would chastise his disciples and correct them. Sometimes he would say, "Don't mind, I'm your guru, I have to correct you." So he would chastise. And I remember one time he came to the temple, and again in Melbourne, and he walked in, and he ran his finger along the windowsill, and there's some dirt. He said, "Where is the temple president?" He called the temple president. One time a disciple asked Prabhupada, what is the meaning of what is the understanding of temple president? And Prabhupada thought for a moment. He said, "Temple president, anything goes wrong, it's his fault." So he gave many different names, but this one time he said, anything goes, his fault. So he called just a little bit of dirt. And we know Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also the same. They were all clean. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta used to walk through the ashram very regularly, the brahmachari ashram. He used to walk through the ashram. And if he saw something like that, he would chastise his disciples. "Why are you keeping dirty here? Not only you have to be clean, but the place you stay also has to be clean. Not that you're wearing the clean cloth and everything else is very dirty. No, everything clean. So we had to make back. And Mayapur also same, very dirty. He probably didn't like any dirty. He would walk around continuously. I saw in Mayapur. I used to clean sometimes in Mayapur and Vrindavan also. One time we were looking there. I was there for the opening of the Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan. Just before the opening, we were just taking a tour of the new temple, and Prabhupada this was in the afternoon, Prabhupada just happened to walk in with some of his disciples, and we paid our obeisances, so we told where we were from, and he said, "So you like here Vrindavan, you like this temple?" Yes. What are you doing now? I said, "Prabhupada, we're just looking the new temple." "No, you're just looking, you don't have any seva?" "Just looking. You have to, so give them some seva, cleaning the temple." All of a sudden we were looking and then just cleaning with the mop, the water, everything on our knees like that all of a sudden. So we're cleaning, we're doing the kirtan there. He had us do 24-hour kirtan because the big yagya was going on for the installation of Krishna Balaram. So he said main thing for us is the kirtan, but because the people here may just think that this is not a bona fide temple, it's the Sahib temple. You know, I don't know these days, but in those days the foreigners were called Sahibs, foreigners. And so the people, if we don't have the real Brahmanas do it, just because Prabhupada said actually our men are trained, they can do it. But because here we are new, and they don't know us very well, they will just maybe in the future call it, this is not a proper temple, this is the Sahib temple, the foreigner temple, not proper temple. The Prabhupada said bring so they brought them, Yasodananda Swami, he brought some South Indian Brahmins to do the paka. But he said actually our men are trained, we can do, but just to alleviate any potential problem, we will do it like this. But the main thing for us is the kirtan, that is the highest, so we were doing the 24-hour kirtan. So, but Prabhupada Paka, all Acharya, everyone, the Paka Brahmana, Vaishnava Brahmana, automatically. So Ruchi was like that. And so Swami Bhuvamana thought this is a very good boy for my daughter. And so they were married. But we read very interestingly, he said he wanted the Putrika Dharma, he employed the Putrika Dharma, he wanted the son. The condition, you can marry my daughter on the condition that her son will be given back to me as my son. So sometimes, Putrika Dharma, sometimes this is if the father and the mother does not have a son to keep the line going, they ask, they only have the daughter or something like that, doesn't have a son, to keep the line going and the name going, and they make a condition with the future son-in-law that, and the whole family on that side, it's called, I think it was mentioned, Putrika Dharma, that the son will come over this side and then will be brought in as our son directly. So it's a little bit strange because already Swami Bhuvamanu had two sons. He had Priyavrata and he had Uttanapada. So one could question, well, why he's asking like, why he's putting the condition like that? Why he's asking, he already has the two sons, but here the explanation is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur because he knew that their son was going to be incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knew beforehand. These great personalities, they're empowered to know these things. And so he knew that this boy, the boy of this couple, my daughter and my son-in-law, will be incarnation of Godhead. So, it's very a great blessing to have directly as our son. We'll bring him up, and this will be great fame to the family. So the Ruchi agreed, but interestingly, both a boy and a girl simultaneously took birth as the son and daughter of Ruchi and Akuti. And the boy was named Yagya, wasn't it? And the girl was Dakshina. So the girl stayed, and here is mentioned the girl stayed there with Ruchi and Akuti, and the boy, Yagya, came to Swami Bhuvamanu and Satarupa. So he was brought up in that household. So it's a very unusual story, but the explanation is given by our acharyas, why Swami Bhuvamanu already had two sons, but still he requested, and Ruchi agreed. And he was, now it's mentioned here that Swami Bhuvamanu was happy that they also had a daughter. Now, apparently the description is they were born simultaneously. Actually, they are Lakshmi Narayan come again. They are Lakshmi Narayan come again in the form of Yagya and Dakshina, and they are eternal husband and wife. Eternal husband and wife. So quite often we see they are born together, and in this particular case, they appear together. And as I said, Yagya went to Swami Bhuvamanu and Satarupa and Dakshina. Later on, they got married, which is very unusual. They were like twins. And so marriage is very unheard of that the twins get married. But because actually they're not ordinary, they are Lord Narayan and Lakshmi Devi. They don't have like ordinary bodies. So therefore they actually were married later on. So now here it is mentioned that the female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi Devi. Of course, Lakshmi Devi is existing beyond the world in the Vaikuntha, and she has all position of Godhead practically, the expansion on the female side. She is like the God herself, but on the female Godhead side. and of course our Lord Narayan. He is there, Lord Vishnu in the Vaikuntha. So Yagya. Now in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya also, there's all descriptions, technical descriptions of the different kinds of expansions and incarnations. Swayam Rupa is considered the original form of Krishna. Swayam means Swayam Rupa, the Krishna, and then Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakash, Swayam Vilas, Swayam Prabhav, Swayam Vaibhav, and then you get combination Prakash Vaibhav. Apparently, Lord Yagya falls in the Prakash, means incarnation, Vaibhav, separate from the original one, but Godhead also is called Prakash Vaibhav. So there's very technical explanations, sometimes a little bit too technical for the beginning devotees, but all these things are nicely explained. Then you can read one part of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya where Srila Prabhupada summarizes Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. He thought maybe I will not live so long to translate and do the commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he did the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya and summarized. So there you can read various descriptions of the different expansions and forms and incarnations or avatar. All these different explanations are given and different technical names for them and so on and so forth. So, but Lord Yagya, now there's also a reference to Lord Yagya. He appeared and he was the exemplary of the performance of Yagya. Here, Prabhupada talks about Yaju Veda. Yaju Veda is one of the Vedas that specifically, many things are mentioned there. It's a very big work, but especially how all the different yagyas, all the different rituals, how to do and all these different things. Generally those who are brahmanas, they are studying the Veda, they study all these things from when they are small boys, how to do all these things. So Lord Yagya is a personification of Yagya. And there's one reference in the other Purana, in the Garuda Purana, that Lord Yagya was so elevated a personality, and he was incarnation, as I said, and he actually, and it said at the time, at least in one appearance of Lord Yagya, is mentioned that no one was qualified to accept the post of Indra, and Lord Yagya at one time, he became the Indra. It's mentioned that when those who, there's no one qualified to be Indra, sometimes the Lord himself, sometimes even Lord Brahma, when there's no one has to be very qualified to be in the position of Lord Brahma, or even Lord Indra. And then if no one is qualified enough, then Lord Vishnu himself goes there, because you need very big qualifications. So then apparently Lord Yagya, there was no one qualified at the time to be Indra, so he took the post of Indra, and when he was the Indra, he ruled everything and showed the example how to do the ritualistic performances and do the yagya, especially with Yagyapati, especially, I think this verse, Yagyatat Kamanunyata Loko Jam Karma Bandhana, is quoted from in the Bhagavad Gita, that the Lord of the Yagya, the beneficiary, the ultimate beneficiary of the Yagya is Lord Vishnu. So he did the Yagya, he is the incarnation himself, he is the beneficiary, but he showed by example how to do the Yagya, how to do nicely in the topmost position, in that the Lord himself, actually everything is offered to Lord Vishnu in Yagya, and then everyone else gets the prasadam of Lord Vishnu, and the devas benefit in that way. That is actually the proper way to do the yagyas. Lord Vishnu, of course, someone can worship other demigods, Ganesh, or Lord Shiva, or Indra, and so on and so forth. But really, the best way to do it, and actually the devas are very happy, that you worship Lord Vishnu and offer the prasad to, I saw one time one of our Gaudiya Math temples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. They had Lord Shiva and they had Lord Ganesh, they had others there. And generally in our Sampradaya, we were worshipping Radha and Krishna and Gauranitai like that. You don't so much see Lord Shiva or worship of Lord Ganesh. But then I was asking, and they said that actually we are offering to Radha and Krishna, and then we are giving the prasad to Lord Ganesh, and we're giving the prasad to Lord Shiva. So that is quite acceptable. Now, from the time of Prabhupada, he wanted exclusive worship of Radha Krishna, Gaura, Jagannath, these forms. So we don't so much put the Murti of Lord Shiva or Ganesh or others. The Prabhupada considered these things, but he thought, one disciple actually asked him, can we put the Ganesh, and we pray to Ganesh to overcome the obstacles? And Prabhupada thought, no, better just to concentrate on Radha. I don't want you going all different places. So just concentrate on the Radha and Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Jagannath is also Krishna. So this is our line, we follow like that. But to offer the bhoga to Lord Vishnu, that is the proper way to do the yajna. And so all our activities, or the fruits of activities, is meant, and this is how they're purified. Otherwise, any activity, as Prabhupada comments on here, will really entangle us. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Kamano, Kamana, what is it? Kamano Yapi Bodavyam, Bodavyam Chavi Kaman, Akamanascha Bodam, Gahano Gati. This verse from Bhagavad Gita. He said, the intricacies of action are very hard to understand, Krishna says. Therefore, one should know what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. It's very interesting in this section in the 4th chapter. Krishna talks about the karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma. So karma is ordinary actions, and then you'll get reactions. And then, of course, vikarma is very sinful activities, prohibited. And then you have to really suffer for these vikarmas. And then akarma is activity, but because it is in yajna to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there's no actual reactions as far as reactions in the material world. So this is understanding. Kamano yapi bodavyam chavi kamana. It needs, and Prabhupada very much goes into explaining all these kamanya kamaya pasyet, akamanish kamaya. One who sees inaction in action, and action in inaction is intelligent among men. And then yasya savi samaramba kama sankalpavadyan. One is understood to be in the full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of the desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So the people in general, they don't know these things. They don't know that every action of us, especially on the Bhumandala, on the Bharatvash, we are living in we were talking in Perth, in the different levels of the Bhumandala, all the Dweepas, and then all the Bhashas in the Jamba Dweepa. We were talking, a nice description there. And in the Bharatvash, there's the human beings, and then the human beings are responsible for their activities. The others are getting the results of their previous activities, but here we are creating more activities, more karma, and the karma can go over many lives. What we've done in the last life, it doesn't fit all in one life, it has to go many lives. And then how we react to that will give us more again. But very, very entangling. No one can actually understand all these things. It's very, very complicated. Only Krishna can understand these things. He is following. And of course the Yamarajas are empowered, especially those who perform sinful activities. They are brought by his agents to him. But so karma and vikarma, that you really want to, karma in general is entangling. Every action, you really want to avoid the vikarma, the prohibitive actions, because that will give you very, very heavy reactions. You have to go to Yamaraj, all these things, get a heavy reaction. And then, but best is akarma. Akarma, you're offering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything. All your actions are like that. So Prabhupada used to use the example, just like someone sees a wallet in the road, and then one person, he goes and just takes it and then runs away. Another one he sees, oh, that's not mine, he just goes away. Another one he sees, he goes, picks it up, opens, he says, who is belonging this wallet? Oh, such and such. Oh, then he goes and gives to that person. So who is the best one? He returns. Yeah. The one who returns. So everything is owned and controlled. This Savasimidam Sarvam. Everything is owned and controlled by Krishna. We don't actually own anything. We are just temporarily here. I was reading one story, Devayani and Yayati, that after some time, long time in enjoying the world, she came to the conclusion, what is the really value of the life in the world. She said, it's like a hotel full of tourists. This was her example, very good example. A hotel full of tourists. You go to a hotel, there's so many tourists. Say you're going on holiday. There's so many tourists there. Do you pay that much attention to the tourists? I mean, you talk. You talk about things, but you won't see them again probably. You also won't be staying in the hotel very long. You're just going for a few weeks. You don't pay temporarily while you're there. Oh, it's a nice hotel, but you're not going to pay serious attention to the hotel. You're going to go in 2 or 3 weeks. Similarly, the people you meet there, you'll never see them again. You've just met them temporarily. So she said, life in the world is actually like that. Come and go, like the hotel full of tourists. We meet, of course, while we're in the world, we have to do our duties. That is prescribed. We do our spadharma, occupation, and we should try to do to the best of our ability. And simultaneously, sanatana dharma, what is our spiritual obligations, we do it together. And these spadharmas are governed once you follow varnashram, and in the varnashram there will be yajna. All these things are very connected to each other. Sahajagya, Prajashishpa, Puravacha, Prajapati. Many places Krishna talks about the yajna. In the beginning of the creation I sent all these things along with the yajna, and the yajna is born of the prescribed duties. And so if one is following Varnashrama, then you will do the yajna. And the yajna originally comes from me. So he is Lord Yajna. Now I've also read about this particular Lord Yajna that we know that in the different yugas there's a Hamsa avatar in the Satyuga, and apparently this particular Yajna is the Yuga avatar for the Treta Yuga, this particular Lord Yajna. There's another story in another Purana that I read some time ago that this Lord Yajna, he became a nakshatra, a star in the deer head in the stars it represents Lord Yajna. There's a constellation in the shape of a deer head, and there's a whole story there. I won't go. There's another story on how that happened like that. But there's many stories connected to Lord Yajna. We don't read so much about Lord Yajna, but here, fortunately, we're reading about Lord Yajna and his good wife Dakshina, who is a representative of Lakshmi Devi. Jagyatat kamanonyatra loko jam kama bandhana taratam kama kontaya mukta sangha samachara. If you want to have the mukta, if you want to be freed from action and reaction, you can't do it just by yourself acting in the world. You can't do it even just going away to the Himalaya or going into the deep forest and just detaching, because even your breathing, even your sitting, there'll be some reaction. You're walking somewhere, you're walking some ants, maybe you tread on the ant, you kill the ant. Even the smallest things, you get reaction. You can't avoid getting reaction. So, and reaction keeps us bound in the material world. Karma bandhana, this word bandhana is used. Jagyatat kamanonyatra loko jam karma bandhana. Karma, of course, means the actions, and bandhana means bound. Karma bandhana, we're bound by these, any actions, whether they're good actions or bad actions. In one sense, of course, people always want to get the results of good actions. They don't want to get the results of bad actions. But any action, whether good or bad, is binding. So, because you get the good result, and that will be temporary, and you get the bad result, that will also be temporary. So, any good and bad for the transcendentalist is not so good, because the transcendentalist wants to go out of this samsara, going round and round, the karma, the activity. He wants to go out. This is a very rare position. Not many people can attain it. People in Kali Yuga don't even think about it. They're just going along, and being bound up, next birth, again. So many. They don't even think. Even those who think about it, it's hard to understand. And the Krishna himself, Kamano, Yapi Bodhavim, Chavi Kamano. He says the intricacies of action and reaction are very hard to understand. But one who's trained in knowledge can understand these things. And these things, the fire of this transcendental knowledge will burn all that up. Will burn it up. If you are situated in the transcendental knowledge, you'll burn all this action and reaction. Why? Because you'll be in akarma. You'll be doing action, but there'll be no reaction. How is it possible? And actually Arjuna becomes a bit confused about this, and he asks Krishna, can you please clear it up? One time you are asking me to act, another time you're talking about you have to be free from actions, and then you're talking about actions that have no reaction. So I'm a bit confused. Can you enlighten us more and explain more? But Krishna goes to great length here. So, but if one understands by the actual transcendental hearing from the right source, from the one who actually knows these things, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the fire of that knowledge will burn up all those reactions, and you'll be akarma. You'll be in the akarma, and then you'll be in the transcendental position. Mukta Sangha Samachara, Mukta Sangha. You will have the association of mukti. You will be liberated from the cycle of birth and go back home, back to Godhead. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the verse of this Srimad Bhagavatam? Someone says something? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. You're talking very softly. I can't hear. I think they're the fans also. Talk more loudly. Yeah. How he? Oh, Yagya. Well, he appeared, as mentioned here, he appeared as the Yagya and Dakshina. They were born from Ruchi and his wife Akuti. So Lord Vasudeva, Krishna appeared in one. The incarnations appear in many different ways. Sometimes they come like Lord Varaha, the boring came just from the nostril of Brahma. And so they can come in any way, as they like. So but this particular appearance, Lord Yagya, both Lord Yagya and Dakshina appeared simultaneously, twins, husband, girl and boy together. As I said, the boy was given to Swayambhuva Manu, that was the condition, and the girl stayed with Ruchi and Akuti. So they appeared as their children. Oh, well, that is not mentioned like that. Maybe they just appeared. I didn't read where they are. Normally incarnations don't appear like that. They just, all of a sudden they appear. And sometimes there's a semblance of the lady is looking pregnant, but all of a sudden they just appear outside of the womb. And generally the case is, I haven't read where they appear in a normal way. Generally is the case, sometimes just to show the people that they're pregnant. But all of a sudden, she's not pregnant anymore, and they just appear outside the womb. So the incarnations are not, generally they don't appear normal way. They appear, and that's it. We can know how they're incarnations because like that. They're not ordinary personalities. Yes, ma'am.
Just for a question, as well as Chitta Haripa, who has got one question. I'll just ask mine first. What's the meaning of this kind of fourth order? And for each of the 6 questions Naimisharanya is asked, this answer is
well, I have to have a look exactly which questions were asked in Naimisharanya. I have to go back and have a look at exactly the questions and what is the fourth. Which questions you're referring to? Where in the beginning of the first canto. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the story is told that the sages are assembled at Naimisharanya and they ask different questions. So generally in the Bhagavatam, it goes through, and all the Puranas go in the same way. These creation, and then secondary creation, and then the 10 particular progressions of subject matter of the Bhagavatam go throughout the Bhagavatam. It's not that only in one section this is talked about, but all together, right throughout the strand of the Bhagavatam, at least these 10 subjects are discussed. And so you'll find in this Bhagavad Purana, and you'll find in all the Puranas, the same theme. Original creation and secondary creation by Lord Brahma, Stana, and so on and so forth. They're different, 10 different stages, 10 different subjects as far as the involvement of the creation of the world. So as far as which particular questions you're referring to, you have to show me those particular questions, and then we can see if they're answered in the fourth, if they're answered here. I don't know that generally I have to see which particular questions, but I know that in this progression is there in the Bhagavatam. The 10 different levels of progression is there. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita often says aham, which means I. How to understand correctly that it is not always directly him, but also his expansions? Should we serve only the devotees around us, the spiritual master who represents Krishna in this world? Is it possible to try to develop a relationship directly with Krishna as a supreme personality in parallel with such service? How to do it right?
Yes, well, I mean, well, that we have to take guidance from the spiritual master, the guru, who is representing his guru. Generally, in our tradition, we're following. We were just speaking in another temple on the Narada Pancharatra and the Panchatriki. There's Panchatriki Marga and Bhagavad Marga. For us in the Gaudiya line, as Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and our acharyas, and they are recommending that in this age, that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas follow these two systems. Normally we could just do Bhagavad Marga, which means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Shmaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Shakam, Apninivedanam. These are the 9 processes, hearing, chanting, remembering. We can just concentrating on any one of these things or all of these things. Serving, we can just do that. But the problem is because we are beginning, we can't fully concentrate. We are thinking other things. We are distracted. Therefore, as recommended, Narada Muni gave some very nice Bhakti Sutras. The Prabhupada began to translate the Bhakti, the different stanzas, the explanation of Bhakti. He began to start that and finish by, there's 84 aphorisms in the Narada Bhakti Sutra, and the Narada Pancharatra. There's a more longer work, and in that Pancharatra, there's a Panchatriki. All the different regulations are there, how to worship the deity. There is, since other Shastras, Hari Bhakti Vilas and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but so the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are following both Panchatriki Marga and Bhagavad Marga. Bhagavad Marga is always there. We are practicing, especially the very advanced souls. They just they don't need to really follow any other marga or anything, or rules and regulations, but they follow to show the example. So we are following the two things. So therefore, the guidance is there. The acharyas are explaining it according to these shastras and according to how they've heard. And definitely, we are worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have to understand how everything comes. How originally there is Krishna, and from him so many expansions. And so in this way, in our Gaudiya line, as told by, especially by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is recommending the worship of Radha and Krishna. And so we are worshipping Radha and Krishna. It's more very specifically, we're worshipping the forms as given by our acharyas, especially Lord Chaitanya, as I said, Gaura Nitai and Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. There's a very intimate relationship there from Jagannath Puri. Lord Nrsingadev was given to us. So these methods, we have to follow what is given to us by the acharyas in our line. And certainly, especially as one becomes more advanced devotee, we are worshipping all together. Why just one or the other one? This is one or the other one is for very neophyte devotee. I only worship God in the temple. I don't worship other things. This is a very beginning devotee. very beginning. We can't understand many things, but at least can understand about God coming to the temple. Of course, God is everywhere, but we have God in the temple, but he's worshiping God in the temple, but he doesn't he doesn't appreciate any other forms of worship. Actually, Krishna says, you worship my devotee, and I'm more pleased than you worshiping me directly. So all these instructions are there, and we have to follow the instructions under the guidance of the Guru. So as one becomes more advanced, then you're worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the different incarnations of the Lord, and in our line more specifically, and all the devotees. The Vaishnavas are very, very important. Without the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we cannot even know who is the Supreme Personality. But so all these things are important, and we have to do all of them. We have to do all of them. We can't just, I'm only doing like this. That is not our method in our tradition. They're not like that. Only like that. We are respecting God, but we don't respect the devotees, or we don't respect the outsiders. We have to show respect to all, but we have to know what is the difference between everything. Not that everything is the same. I respect that within the tiger there is the Paramatma, there is the Jivatma, and I'm giving respect. But if I go very closely to the tiger, then he'll eat me. Because the soul is in that body, and is just pushed by that body. So we have to be very sensible. Prabhupada used to say, Krishna consciousness is 99% common sense, and you add Krishna to everything, it makes perfect. So we have to do all these things together. And as one becomes more advanced, becomes more expert, how to do so many things together. And we find a very, very advanced. We were just telling some stories about Srimati Radha, and we know in the Kartika month, Mother Yasoda. Mother Yasoda was very expert in so many activities, just like Srimati Radha. Anything she wanted to do, she was the perfection. She was the most expert. And she did many things. Everyone knew. No one could do like Radharani. No one could do like Mother Yasoda. We see this is our model, how the very high devotees are doing so many things simultaneously. The more you become a neophyte, then they can only maybe do one thing, and then even then they're distracted. They can't even stick one thing. So therefore, these things are Bhagavat Marg, Tantra Triki Marg. Just follow it patiently, have faith in the Guru, and then gradually you will learn to do more and more things simultaneously. And the devotees will encourage you, Guru will encourage you, and Krishna from within will also encourage you. Hare Krishna. Any other question? Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gopanandi Hari Hari Bol.